Hi everyone, I'm Navjeet Singh and welcome to BI on Tips. In this video, we'll build a complete end-to-end project starting from raw data, cleaning it in Power BI, using Power Query, build a proper data model and write meaningful DAX, and finally creating a professional business ready report. So this project is not about creating fancy visuals, it's about understanding business problems and answering them using data. So let's start. Let's first understand the business scenario. Imagine a mid-sized B2B company called XYZ Solutions. So XYZ sells products in different categories like electronics, furniture, and accessories. All right. So XYZ sells to other companies across different regions like North, South, East, West, and Central India. They have many customers. Over the years, XYZ has collected uh, sales data, product data, customer data, and even sales targets, but the leadership is struggling to make sense of it. So, just for clarification, we have sales data, products data, customer data, and sales target. Basically, we have four different types of data here. We have sales, we have customer data, and we have products data, and then we also have targets. So business is asking different types of questions, like are we actually growing compared to last year, or which products and regions drive most of our revenue, who are our most valuable customers, are customers buying in volume or buying premium products. So our role as a Power BI analyst is to convert this raw data into clear, actionable insights. By the way, I have shared the raw data set and final PBIX file on GitHub. If you want to follow along, you can download the files from the link in the description. I'd recommend trying to build the report yourself first and then compare it with the final PBIX file. Okay. So, based on this business problem, we'll answer these questions using two report pages. So, you can see on the screen, we have this report that we are going to build. It has two pages: sales overview and customer details, which looks like this. So, sales overview is answering questions like how is the business performing overall compared to last year, or which products, categories, regions, and cities driving the sales. So we'll go into details later in this video. Right now, I'm just giving you the overview of each of the page that we have created and which business questions that each page will answer. In the customer details page, we'll answer questions like who are our most valuable customers, how do customers buy, like by volume or by value, and which customers are growing and which are at risk. So let's start building this step by step. So we'll first jump into Power Query where we'll do the data cleaning. So by the way, in this video, I'll teach you different transformation in the Power Query using M language, and we'll also build a date table from scratch using M code. Once we are done with that, then we'll move on to the other parts which we'll discuss uh, step by step. Okay, so let's jump into our Power Query. Okay, so now we are here. We will start building the report now. So let's start with Power Query, because good analytics always start with clean data. So here I will be cleaning sales, customer, products, and target data that already discussed. I'll fix date formats, clean the column names, remove unnecessary fields, and all that. So I will be cleaning as per our business requirement. I will not be doing the cleanup randomly. So everything I do here supports the business questions we want to answer later, especially time based and customer level analysis. So enough of this discussion. Let's start building. Okay, so we'll start with the importing our data which we have in CSV format. So before I import it into Power BI, I'll just quickly show you how the data looks like in the CSV. So we have sales targets where we have target date, product ID, and the target amount. Then we have sales data, which is having sale ID, order date, product ID, customer ID, quantity, unit price, and sales amount. We have products data, which is having product ID, product name, and category. And finally we have customer data, which is having customer ID, customer name, city, and region. So now we will start by importing this data into Power BI, and then we'll jump into Power Query. Okay, so to get the CSV data, go to get data and then select text slash CSV. So we'll just start with our sales data. Just select that and click on open, and it will open a preview window like this. So it is showing the preview based on first 200 rows. Delimiter use this comma since it is a CSV, and we can then click on transform data. Since we want to clean this, we'll go to Power Query. So the screen that you see now, this is the Power Query editor. On the top, if you see on the top ribbon, we have different options: home, transform, add column, view, tools, help. And in each of the options we will get different types of transformations to perform on the data. And on the right side here you will see all the applied steps. So basically whenever you perform any transformation on any table, you will see those transformations as steps on the right side. So by default it has promoted the headers and changed the data type, but we'll verify and see if that is correct and change as per our requirement. So let's first import all the tables and then we'll jump into different transformations. So I'm importing customer data, same, just import it. Same with the other data like products, click on open and then click OK. Last we are left with targets data. So we'll just quickly go and select the targets. Just click OK. Alright. So now we have all the data sets that we want, and we will start with the cleanup of all the data. So since I have named it as sales underscore messy just to show that this is unclean data and we need to clean few things here. Okay, so first we will okay, so now we will start with data types. We'll see if all the data types are correct or not. So most of the data types that you see are correct. Basically what I mean by that is, you see this part here, this, so these are all data types. So basically it is indicating 1 2 3 as whole number, ABC as text type column. But if you see, notice this, for order date it is by default taking data type as text, but we don't want text data type because we want to do time period analysis, like for example current year versus last year that we saw in the business problem or the business questions in the beginning. So this text type will not work, so we'll have to change this. How to change? Just click on this and you will be able to see all the different data types available. So we'll change it to type date. So it is asking whether we want to add it as a new step or replace the current. So I'll say just replace the current step. We don't want text but date. Okay. After this, now you see on the screen that it is showing error here. Why is that? So on the right side, if you go to the previous step, you see we have invalid date, which is of type text. It is a string. So if we try to convert it into date, it will throw an error. What's the error? So it is saying the input provided as date value it couldn't parse. So basically we need to handle these errors. So there are two ways. Either we can replace these errors with some other value, or we can just remove the errors. So if you go here, you will be able to see we have remove errors option, or if you go here and go to replace values, you see options replace errors. So in some scenarios we may not want to remove the entire error row, just remove the error values in a few columns. Like for example, if I just want to replace it with the null, I can do that, and now it is showing 0% error. But here I don't want to do that. Here I just want to remove the errors. So I'll just use the other option, which is remove errors. So I'll go here and then select remove errors. Now it has removed all the errors in this column. Now next, what we want to do is we want to remove any of the null values or any other data type that we see which is not correct. Okay, let's see. I see all the data types look fine. Okay, but if you see in this date column, we have a lot of null values, which does not make any sense. For example, this one, this is not useful. So what we will do is we click here and we uncheck this. So now it has filtered out all the null values. And next we can see if there are any other values. Here also you can see it is showing sale id as null, so this also we can remove. Okay, let's see what else we can clean. Okay, in the quantity column, if you see, we have zero quantity, uh, which is not useful. This is not the data that we want for an analysis, so we can clean it. Or instead of doing this, let's do it other way. What we can do is number filter, I'll say greater than 0. So in future, if some random values like negative values or something like that comes, it will be automatically removed instead of just removing the values with 0. All right, let's see uh, if the data makes sense now. Okay, let's understand the sales amount, unit price, and quantity column. So ideally, sales amount should be quantity into unit price, which I see is not the case here. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. This is also incorrect. This one is coming out negative, and this is coming out to be null. So I guess this sales amount column is not being calculated properly. I think what we have to do is we will create our own sales amount measure instead of relying on the sales amount column. So in real cases also, sometimes the data provided from some POS systems or some other data sources may not be right. So this is how you will do a quick check, like sales, like I did for sales amount. So what we'll do is we'll remove this column. Just click on remove. So now we have clean data. So let's see if we have any other issue. I think everything else looks okay. Okay, let's create the sales amount column. So for that, what we can do is we can go to add column, and then we can create custom column. So let's call it as sales amount. So we can do it like quantity into unit price. Okay, now we will change the data type to whole number like this. Now you can see we don't have those incorrect values, nulls, and all negative values or anything like that. All right. Okay, now our sales data looks clean. Let's rename this to just sales. Let's jump on to customer data. Okay. Okay, so customer data, you can see our row headers, column headers are coming out as first row. So this is incorrect. What we need to do is use first row as headers. Now this looks fine. Data types are also fine. Let's jump on to, so same thing here. Sales targets. Oh, this is already correct. Yep. Okay. So now we have cleaned the data. We have checked the data types, and everything looks fine. But one thing, if you notice, is missing. What's that? In the beginning, we said we want to do time series analysis, that the business was asking what is the growth year over year, like how is our sales compared to last year. So to answer that question, we need to have a date table in our data set to connect sales and sales target. Okay, so for that, as I promised in the beginning, we will create that date table from scratch using M code. So how can we do that? So what we will do is we will start with the date range, like what, from where the calendar table or the date table should start and where it should end. What you can do is go here, click on blank query. Okay. Now here what I'm trying to do is I want to restrict this date range of this date table to the min and max date of sales table. So what I'm trying to say is we have sales table, and for example the date of this sales table starts at 2023-01-01, and we want to end this date at maybe 2024 December 31st. So now I want to fetch these uh, minimum and maximum date values from this sales data. So for that, I'll show you how we can do that. So let's start with the start date. So for that, what I need to do is first fetch the column, say table dot select columns, and what's the column name? First, what is the table name? It is sales. And in sales, what's the column name? If I'm not wrong, it is order date. Let's see. Yes, it is order date. Now, what I need to do is I need to fetch the minimum and maximum date. So since it is start date right now, we are fetching the start date. So we'll take the minimum values. But you cannot simply take the minimum of this. First, what you need to do is convert this into a list. So you can say order date like this, and this will convert these values into list. Now you can take the min or max of this list. You can say list dot min. It will give you the minimum value from this list. Okay, so the minimum value is this, which is the start date of our calendar table. You can just duplicate this and call it as end date. Now what you need to do is just replace this min with max, center. Now you can see this is the max date and this is the min date, so start date and end date. Now what we need to do is we need to create the calendar table using these dates. And how do we do that? So that is simple. Again, we'll start with the blank query, call it as date table. What we'll do is we'll start with list dot dates. Now you can see the arguments. We need to give the start date, we need to give the counter, and then the step. Count is start date, what we already calculated, that is start date, and count is basically the number of days between the start date and end date. For that, what we can do is we can use duration dot days here, and in duration we need to give the difference between end date and start date. So we'll say end date minus start date and then plus 1, because we want inclusive start date and end date. And now we need to give the step, like how we want to create this. So we want to increment by 1 day. What we can do is we can use duration function. Duration. So in duration, it can take 4 arguments, like days, hours, minutes, and seconds. We'll say days as increment by 1, and for hours, minutes, and seconds, we'll just say 0000. Click that. Okay, now you have the list. So it has generated the list starting from our start date till the end date. So let me just quickly scroll down, and this is the end date. But we cannot use this as a date table because this is a list. What you need to do is convert this list into a table. So for that, you can just simply click on this option and it will convert this into a table. Okay, now we can change it to type date. Just rename it to date. Now the further step is we want to add other columns like year, month name, and day. For that, you can create custom columns. What you can do is go to add column, custom column, let's say year, and then say date dot year, and then use this, and I think I made a mistake. This is okay, so it's good. So since we got this error, why? Because M code is case sensitive, and I used year Y as small, so that's why it is throwing an error. What we need to do is change it to capital Y, and then click OK. Now you can see it's working. Change it to whole number. Now similarly, you can add other columns like month. Let me quickly add month, say date. Okay. Sorry, I mentioned date dot. Click OK. Now again change it to date. Not date. Whole number. Now the the final step. We also want to add month name that we can add, that we can add in a similar way, like month name date dot month name. Then we can say date. Click OK. Okay, now we have the date table. So now we have done all the steps that we wanted to do in Power Query. We cleaned our sales data, customer products and sales targets data, and now we have created a date table from scratch. Okay, now we are done with Power Query. Now we will uh, click on close and apply, and then we will start with data modeling. So next we'll start with data modeling. See you there. Okay, welcome back. Now we will start with data modeling. As you can see, we have all the data loaded into our Power BI report. And one mistake that we did is we also loaded end date and start date. So there is no need to load these into the front end. We can quickly fix this. So that's how you learn. So this is a real world project. So these kinds of mistakes happen. So what you need to do is click on this and uncheck this one, and similarly go here, uncheck enable load. Now this will not appear in the front end, but it will be evaluated when this report is refreshed. So click close and apply, and now you are good to go. Now we have the clean looking front end. Okay, now we'll start with data modeling. So if you come here to the data model tab, you can see we already have one relationship with sales targets and products. Customer date table is not linked, and where is our sales table? Oh, here it is. Okay, okay, let me arrange all the dimensions on the top and facts on the bottom. this is how you should create a data model. You should always keep the flow like this, from top to bottom, from dimensions to facts. So basically, sales targets are facts, and customer products and table are dimensions. So this is already connected. Let's see if this is correct. So when you hover over it, you will see product ID. Product ID is highlighted in both tables. So this is connected perfectly. So this is correct. So let's connect the other dimensions with the sales and also date with the sales targets. So how we can create customer and sales relationship? You can see we have customer ID here and customer ID here. So you just click on this and drag on to customer ID. It is showing you the preview. Okay, so this is one to many relationship in the single direction. What does that mean actually? Cardinality one to many. So basically, in the dimensions, we always have unique IDs uh, for the dimension table, and in sales, we will have duplicates for that ID. So basically, one is on the dimension side, and many is on the sales fact table side, which is correct. And this will filter in single direction, basically from customer to sales. So we can say this is correct. So just click on save. So it will create a relationship like this. Similarly, we'll create with product ID. Click on save, and then with date with order date. Now you can see this is creating one-to-one relationship in both direction, but we don't want that. We'll just say one to many and in the single direction, and click on save. And same, we will create target date and date relationship. This is one to many, this is single. Okay. All right. Now we have created a star schema. So basically, star schema means you can see all these are connected to sales table. There is no dimension to dimension relationship, but dimension to factor relationship only. So this is what a star schema looks like. Now, since we have created our data model, we will proceed with our next step, which is creating DAX measures. So before that, uh, I just want to highlight that this structure, this task schema, is important because it keeps the model clean, it improves the performance, and makes the DAX simpler and more reliable. So we'll also create a proper date table. Sorry, we have already created a date table to enable time intelligence like year over year analysis. Now we will create DAX measures such as total sales, sold quantity, total orders, current year versus last year, and so on. So just a quick note before we start building the KPIs, the dataset and the Power BI file are available in the description for reference. So if you want to follow along, please check that out. All right. So let's move to our first page, which is sales overview. So this page is designed for leadership and senior management. So we will have to answer business questions which the leadership would like to be answered. So business has a few questions. I will list them one by one on the screen, and then we will build the KPIs and the visuals to answer those questions. So the first question is, how is our current year sales performance compared to last year? And the second question is, which products and categories are driving our revenue? And the last question for this page is, which regions and cities contribute the most to sales? So, so we will first create the KPIs, and then we'll create visuals to answer these questions. So let's start with creating a table where we will create all the measures. So this is a good practice to keep all the measures at one place. So you can name anything to this column in this table, because anyway at the end we will delete this. This is just a placeholder. Name it as like KPIs or anything that you want. So once you create the table, it will appear here. uh, for now it looks like other tables, but when we will create first measure, I'll show you how we can differentiate it from other tables. So let's create our first KPI, which is total sales. So let's say total sales and sum of sales amount. So this is how we will get our total sales. Now now we can delete this column. Just click on this and say delete from model, and now you can see this KPIs table is appearing on the top, and the icon of this also changed. So this is how you can create a KPIs table to keep all the measures at one place. So let's create our second KPI to answer our second question, which is comparison of last year sales. So we'll say sales last year. So here we will make use of calculate function. We can reuse our total sales KPI, and then to calculate sales for last year, we will use a time series function, which is same period last year, and we will pass the date column from the date table. Say date, you can see it here, and just press enter. So now we have both the KPIs, total sales and the sales last year available. Now we can create our first visual. All right, let's create our first visual. So we will create a line chart. Let's make use of date from the date table. Date, and then we will put on total sales and sales last year. Let's create another visual, which is slicer, and we'll use date to filter out the visuals on this page. Okay, so now we have sales from Jan 2024 to April 2024, and you can see total sales and sales last year. So this basically shows you the trend of current year versus last year. So current year in this case is 2024, and last year is 2023, which is shown by sales last year. And this basically answers our question, uh, that what is the performance compared to last year. So the second question that we need to answer is which products and categories are driving our revenue. For that, we will create two visuals, one clustered column chart and one line chart. So in clustered column chart, what you can do is you can use products, product name, and in the y-axis, you can use total sales this year and last year. This year, last year. Okay. Now you can see we are comparing product wise sales this year and last year. Okay. The second part of the same question was for categories. So we'll copy this line chart, and here we can just remove this. We just want to see the performance of categories. So now you can see category wise, we can see the trend of accessories, electronics, and furniture, and we can compare the performance between the categories. Okay, and last question for this page that we need to answer is which regions and cities contribute the most to the sales. So again, this is a comparison of text values, or just like product name. What we can use is cluster chart. Why I'm telling you this, that you need to use clustered column chart here and line chart here, and how I am deciding which chart to use where. This basically depends on what type of data that we are trying to show on the report. So here, if you see, we are showing products, which is the textual data, and to compare the values between different products, we need to use cluster column chart. That is the best visual that we can use to compare the textual values. And if we want to show the trend, like the trend of this year versus last year, the best chart is this line chart, that we can see the trend, like how last year is versus current year and so on. And we use the same thing here. We And this is like another variation where we are comparing the different categories, but we want to see the trend or performance of these categories over this period which we have selected here. And parallelly we can also compare uh, different categories. So you can depending on the situation, you can decide which chart is best for the situation, and which can provide insights easily without any complications. So coming back to our last question. So here again, we will use a clustered column chart to show regions and cities comparison or the performance. So go to customers, say region and city, we put it in hierarchy, and then we'll show total sales and sales last year. Now you can see for east we have these three cities, north we have these three, south these three, and west these four cities. And then we can compare current year versus last year, like that. To give the final touch to this page, and since this is for leadership, so basically all the questions are already answered, but there are few obvious things that we need to take care of. They may not be directly asked by business people, but they are most commonly used. Like what I'm talking about here is like the total values. Like I want to see total sales, total orders, what is the total sold quantity, how many unique customers in this period, and what is the average sales order value. So all these things, it is like job of a data analyst, or your as a Power BI analyst, it's your job to like understand few basic things. Whenever you are building these reports, you will answer all these questions which they have asked, but you can provide something extra which will be a cherry on top. So what we can do is we can create few more KPIs. We'll say total orders. And how we can calculate total orders? So basically in the sales table we have sales ID. We can simply count those sales ID to see these are the total orders. And another KPI, sales quantity, or quantity sold. You can say sold quantity, and we'll say sum of sales quantity. Yeah, here. So another KPI is unique customers. So basically, we want to see how many unique customers uh, ordered. So what we can do is we can create a new KPI, name it as unique customers, and how we can calculate this is distinct count, and this we can get from sales table. Now many of you may have a question that why from sales table and why not from customer table? Because we want to see those customers who have made a purchase, who have ordered something. So the customer table will have the entire list of customers who have who are customers, maybe they are active or inactive. That is the exhaustive list of customers. But we would like to see only those customers which place the orders between whatever time range that we select, and they are the active customers in the sales table. So that's why we are choosing customer ID from the sales table. So now we have unique customers, we have total orders. Let's quickly create two more KPIs. sorry, one more KPI because we already created three. Sales per order. Sales per order basically gives you the average order value. We'll say total sales by total orders. All right. Now let's create card visual. We will just simply show the total values here on the card. First, we will show total orders and then sold quantity. We can then show maybe unique customers and then sales per order. So these are the values. We will make the cosmetic changes at the end after we have created both the pages. So for now, we will create two more KPIs. Basically, we already have those KPIs. We will just add them here. Total sales and sales last year. What we need to do is just make it a little bit small. Just make it a little bit small. Make it 10. Label also you can make it small. So for making this even more smaller, we what we can do is we can remove the padding. Just make all zeros. Maybe a little bit here, and then we will place it here. Okay, and we can say current year sales and last year sales. LY for last year, CY for current year. We can remove the background of this. Go here, remove the background. Okay, now this looks better. I did not want to do cosmetic changes, but just to show where we will place this, I just made few changes to this, but others we will be doing at the end. All right, so now we have created all the visuals for sales overview page. We have answered all the business questions. Just one last thing that is pending on this page is we need to add few slicers so that business users can slice and dice the data and quickly analyze whatever they want. For that, we can just put in the slicers. Here we can use category and change it to a drop down, and similarly create for product. Just remove the category from here, and then we will put region and city to this one. Region from customer and city also from customers. And the last one we can add is customer. All right, now let's copy all these because we will put the same slicers on the customer details page. We can say sync, and syncing means now if you change slicer on this page, it will automatically get added here, so that users don't have to like select same slicer, same filter again and again on each page. So they can just quickly switch between tables and see the values for same slices. So that's basically the purpose of syncing the slicers. Okay, so coming to the customer details page now, we will first understand what are the business questions for this page, and then we will move to creating visuals to answer those questions. So this page mainly is mainly for sales managers and account managers, so it will provide a little bit more detail as compared to the sales overview page. So the first question that business would like to uh, know is who are our most valuable customers. So basically, we need to answer, and how can we do that to identify the most valuable customers? So let's create maybe a matrix. That's better for this question. So let's create this. Let's put in region, so it will narrow down from which region and which customers. And let's add customer, and let's add category also. Let's move this up. Let's drill this down. Let's remove these plus and minus symbols. Basically, this will just take up space and doesn't look good. And we will change the layout to tabular. This looks better. Now, how can we identify most valuable customers? So, first criteria can be the customers who place more orders, total orders. Okay, and in each order, what's the quantity sold? We can say okay, put the quantity, and then what's the total sales value? So why all three KPIs? Because to answer that question, we will need all three. If a customer is placing one order, but the quantity is less, maybe the total sales will be less. But there can be a case that it's a high value customer that who's placing uh, maybe one order, but placing order for those products which are more valuable, more expensive, and it will be having higher sales. So this will lead to our second question: are customers buying more quantity or high value products? So basically, that's what I'm saying. We also need to figure out which customers are buying more quantity versus who are buying maybe less but having higher value products. So to answer that, we can create a scatter plot or scatter chart. So whenever you have two KPIs to compare, like in this scenario we want to compare sales versus quantity, you can make use of scatter plot. So this is the visual that let you compare two measures or two KPIs. So let's say total sales on x-axis and sold quantity on the y-axis. Now we want to compare customers, so we will bring customers as well. Let's not put it on values. Let's put these on legend. So now we will be able to differentiate between different customers easily. And another thing that we can do is basis total orders, we can differentiate between the different customers. So total orders, let's put this on the bin size bin. So these are all called bins. So we are putting it on size bin. Now you can clearly see basis total orders which customer is having more order than the other. Like for example, if you see this dot is smaller than this one, so that means the order of this customer uh, are less and for this are more. Okay, 2 versus 1. Okay, and if you see on total sales x-axis, so as you go towards right, the sales is increasing, and if you go towards the y-axis on the upper side, the quantity is increasing. So how this is helping to answer our second question is, if you compare these two customers, maybe this customer and this customer, so you can see uh, the quantity sold to this customer is more, is 80, but the sales total sales is 23,000. And for this one, the sold quantity is only 70, but the sales is 51,600. So this basically is answering our question that this customer is ordering high value products versus this customer which has ordered more, but those are not very high value products. All right. So now we have answered our second question also. Let's move to our next question, which is our final question, which that is which customers are growing and which are at risk as compared to the last year. Again, this is a comparison of customers. As I told you on sales overview page, for this we can use clustered column chart. We'll make use of this, put on customers, and then we will just compare total sales current year versus last year. This will answer all our questions for customer details page. Oh, one thing I forgot to do on sales overview page, here we have created everything that the business asks. But in data, we also have one thing extra which we can propose to business that we can show. So that's how the like the actual data analytics projects work. So business will ask you few specific questions, but it is your duty that you propose things which can help the business to make decisions better. So this is answering everything they ask, but you can provide something extra. We already provided these things extra, so we'll add just one more thing here, which is targets. So we haven't used the targets yet, although we have the targets data here, sales targets. We have used products, customers, date, everything, but not the target so far. So we have product ID, target, and the target sales amount. So in this case, what we can use is we can use gauge visual. So if you haven't used this so far, so this is the main purpose of this visual, that you provide a target value and actual value to be compared against. Like for example, we have total sales, so it will appear like this, and then we can provide the target value in the target value bin. We haven't created the KPI, so now we'll create the target measure. Say this. Now we'll just call it as target. We'll say sum of what is that? Target sales amount. Yeah, target sales amount. Now we have the target KPI as well. We can put this here and see how it looks. Alright. Now you can see for this date range we have this much target and we have achieved only this. So this is still behind the target. So we can also make this more clear. How we can add conditional formatting, make this red or green basis whether the target is achieved or not. So to do that, what we can do is we can create maybe another KPI. What we will do is we will add conditional formatting to this visual. So let's create that KPI which can help us to do the conditional formatting. Let's call it as sales versus target conditional formatting. And what we can do is we can use if statement and total sales. If total sales is less than target, we will make this as red. Otherwise, it will show as green. Okay, now we can go to colors, and fill color we can just select the field value, go to KPIs and select that KPI. Now you can see this value, it is less than the target value, and that's why it is red. If we just try to see if it crosses the target, it will turn green. Okay, here now you can see the target was 83,000 and the sales value is 88,000, so it has crossed the target, so it is now green. Let's keep it at first. One more thing is instead of showing this, better thing to show here is the year over year growth, like what's the percentage of this sales versus last year. So this will give you a detailed analysis. Like the red color will anyway show you that the sales is not achieved yet, and I mean the target is not achieved yet. And if the target is achieved or not, whatever the sales we have right now, what how it is compared to last year. For that we can create another KPI which is year over year growth. So for that, what we need to do is we need to create year over year YOY growth. We'll create a new KPI. How we can calculate this is, let's say divide. We can do current year sales minus last year sales and divide by last year sales, and we can just say percentage. We'll change this to percentage. We'll just change it to one decimal place. Now if I add another card, this now you can see versus last year this is minus 16%. And if we change this, okay, now here I have changed it to March to April, and you can see this turned green, that we have achieved the target for this year, but still the sales this year is minus 22% compared to last year. So that's how you read it. And we can, instead of this value, we can just place this percentage there. So there are multiple ways to do it. I'll just keep it simple, just make it small. Sorry. Now we'll just keep this as 8, and in the layout we'll just turn off everything. And now we also need to turn off the padding 0. Keep it here. We'll turn off the background on here. So what I'll do is, instead of using this card, I was just showing you the value here. We'll just directly use this value here. How can you do that? Just go here, call out value and custom label. Year over year growth there. So now you can see the same value there. So we'll just delete this. We don't need this. This is your year over year growth in the gauge. You can turn off tooltips. You can keep total sales anyway. You can hover over and see. Here you can see we have 90,000 sales, and target was 83,000. Okay. So now we have created all our visuals. Now we need to make the cosmetic changes and make this report look prettier. So we'll start with that. First, let's start with the background of this page. We'll start with the canvas setting, canvas background, and then choose the background color. So I'll put all these colors on the GitHub within the project folder. You can take it from there, or you can just type it in manually by watching the video. So let's use the background color, which is F5, F6 and FA. You can keep the transparency to 0. You can see we have this nice looking silver gray color at the background. Now let's start by making the background of all these visuals disappear. Let's turn off the background for everything. Just use format painter, quickly change everything. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, I know this doesn't look very pretty right now, but just keep following the steps, we'll reach there. Okay, let's align these towards the right size. What you can do for this is go here, go to general properties, advanced options, and turn off responsive. You can see now this will give you a little bit more space, and you can also make the um, header a little bit small. Same for the values. Keep this as 9, and slicer header is 12. We'll apply the same everywhere. Okay, so now we can add a background to these slicers so that they stand out on the page. You go to insert, go to shapes, and you can add this shape. So we'll first do the formatting of this, and then we'll place all these slicers on top of this. First, what you can do is go to first you can do is go to shape, style, and in the fill color you have this color. Let's first change the color of this. So what color you can change is, I think this color will work fine. E2A38. This is the color that we used. So one thing I forgot to mention, for like the colors on the report, instead of changing for every visual on every page. So what you can do is you can go to view, and then you can go to themes and customize current theme. Here you can change the color. Like for example, color 1, you can change it to like whatever color we used for that shape. And similarly, another color that you can add is for the a little bit lighter version of same color, so that it looks good with the overall report theme. Or you can change this to 47792 and click apply. Okay, now you can see all the colors on the report changed automatically here also. So this way, even the line charts you can see. So this way you don't need to like go to every visual and use your current color. You can just simply go to themes and change the color there. Okay, coming back to this shape that we were making changes to. We already changed the color, and now we can make few other cosmetic changes, and we can also add text and we can say this is for filters. We can make this bold. Center line is fine. Let's move it to top. Another thing that we can add to this is shadow. This is already looking fine. Let's see if we need to make any other change here. I think this is just fine. All right. So now the background is ready. What we can do is we can place it here. I think this is like too much of inclination here. We can maybe choose another shape and see if find some other shape which looks better. I think this is fine. That's okay. Okay, let me change this view to now we can see it more clearly. I think this much is fine. Yep. Now we can go to format and send this to back. Right. Now these doesn't look very good. Not yet. Let's change the colors. Values, change the font color to white. Even the slicer header to white. Let's try to apply the same thing to others. Let me see values white. We will apply the same to other slicers. All right. Now it's just arrangement of all the slicers on the page. This is already looking good. Okay, let's move it out a little bit so that doesn't interfere with our slicers pane. Let's see if we can select for this. I think this is fine. And we'll add one last thing. I think we shouldn't have changed the values, but we can fix it other way also. We'll just keep this black and the background we can change it to like this, or instead of this we'll use our actual color that we have. We can apply the same all the slicers. Now it looks much better. Okay, so now we have created our filters pane. Now we will make the changes to other visuals. So here first let's change the names. Even for this, just rename this to only customer, this to only product, their product category region city. That looks okay. And let's change the title of this to current year versus last year sales by date. We can make it a little bit smaller, maybe size 12. Let's rename the other KPIs for better understanding and consistency. Current year sales versus last year sales. Now this looks much better. And another thing is for last year, what we can do is we can make that last year line as dotted line. Last year instead of solid, we can say dashed or dotted. So let's say dashed, or maybe dotted looks much better. This is fine. Okay, this is already looking good. So another thing is what we can do is here since this is merging with the background, to make it look even better, we can add shadow to this. We can, this is outside shadow, and we can say custom. So what I'm trying to do here is uh, make it stand out from the background so that it doesn't merge with the background. We should be able to see it separately. So we can make a little bit of a change here. Like we can reduce the size of the shadow a little bit. Maybe blur also we don't need 10. This is fine. Angle you can change it to 0. And distance also to 0. Okay, already looking good. Transparency maybe we can increase a little bit. 90. Yeah. Okay. I think now we are able to see it more clearly. Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, this looks much better now. So quickly before making changes to cards and all, we'll just apply this same setting to these visuals. So this is how you can save your time. Customize one and apply the same settings to others. All right, let's align it properly. Small sides. I think this is already looking much better. Let's now format these card visuals and the target gauge KPI. So we'll first add the images to these cards, and then we'll format this visual and this visual. Okay, let's start by formatting this visual. Let's go to format visual, and then we can, before adding images, first we can do a little bit of formatting here. We can remove the border We can add accent bar, make it 3. Now we can go to callout and add images here for each of the KPI. First for total orders, let's add the image total orders. Okay. Now one by one, let's add for other KPIs as well. For sold quantity, add sold quantity. Okay, fit this. Same for total orders. Now for the remaining unique customers as well as sales per order. Unique customer and sales per order. Alright. So now we have added images. Now we'll beautify this a little bit more. To do that, what you can do is can go to cards, add shadow, and you can go to padding, make this 0, or instead of 0 let's customize this, keep the left padding and make others 0. This will look better. And let's see what else we can change. Let's move here, remove background. Okay, remove background from here as well. Make this a little bit more. Alright, so now we have all this. So let's make the shadow a little bit more accurate. Go to cards, go to shadow. So instead of this, we can say center. This looks better now. And we can apply the same formatting to these two cards as well. Just we need to change the call out data label and value text size. Go to value, make maybe 10, make it a little bit bigger, and you can place these two here. Alright, and same type of formatting we'll apply to the gauge visual. Let's try to apply it directly. No, let's not do that. We'll just apply it separately. Now we'll make the gauge values a little bit small. You can change the colors. Target label also you can make a little bit smaller, maybe 10. And call out value, let's change it to go UA. We already added this year over year growth. Now if you hover over it, you will be able to see target was this, total sales is this. This looks better. Now let's add shadow to this as well. Add shadow. Think let's customize it. Doesn't look good. We'll just make this 0, and this blur, maybe we can customize it such that it looks similar to these cards. For that, I think what we can do is we can apply the same properties that we apply to the other line charts and bar charts. So here we kept size 2, blur 5, angle 0, and transparency we can change to 90. Yes, yeah, now it looks similar to the card visuals. We can bring these a little bit down, and let's make titles also, labels also a little bit small. Okay, so we just need to select all and then reduce the values for everyone. Okay, now we can shift this like this. All right, now this looks much better. We have formatted all the visuals on this. So now let's add the title and maybe the description also to this page. So we'll call this as sales overview and make this 20, maybe 24. And we can add the description like maybe something like tracking sales trends, growth drivers, and overall business performance. So let me type that quickly. Growth drivers and overall business performance. So now we can make this bold and change the color to the other color that we used for the entire report. Right now we can remove the background for this. Okay, now this looks perfect. One last thing to add on this page is remove slicers or clear slicers button. That you can go here to buttons in under insert, and you can add this clear all slicers button. So you can see action is clear all slicers. In style, you can clear the text. We don't need that, and we just turn it off. Remove the border, and in fill you can add this image. So we'll add it here. Okay, and now we can change the transparency to 25 and fill color to this. Right, this looks great. Okay, so how this works, like for example, if you have selected multiple slicers and you want to clear all the slicers in one click, you will be able to use this button and clear everything just like that. So this basically to help the users to clear the slicers in a single click. So this enhances the end user experience, right? So we will do the similar changes on the customer details page. So we will not do it from scratch. So we will transfer everything that we have on this page to the other page in the fastest way possible. So you can copy the canvas background, uh, this color, and start with the background color and then start with the visuals. Once this is there, we have done this. Now you can see background already looks like the other page. Now to bring this, instead of formatting, what we'll do is we'll just remove all these slicers and just copy and paste it from the other page. You can copy everything from here and just paste it and say sync. Okay, all right, looks great. Now you can copy any of the visuals, like for example, we can copy this bar chart, bring it to this page, and then go to home, select format painter, say format all the visuals. This may not work on this matrix visual, just it will do for the background, but other formatting we'll have to do it ourselves. So we'll go to the format option for this matrix, go to layout, we'll change it to condensed. This color doesn't go with our theme, so we'll make changes to the colors. So in column headers, in the background color, you can change it to this color, and row headers background you can change it to this color. All right, and now this blue border that you see, you can also remove that. You can just search border. Okay, here it is, and change it to the same color. Now this looks better. All right, now if you want to show totals, we can do that. For that, like for example, I turned on subtotals here. So instead of turning off entire subtotals, we can go for per row level totals. We'll just turn this off and this off, but we'll keep the totals here. Now you can see we have total for the region, but not for the customer and category. All right, you can search background color, and you can see column headers background color is whatever we gave. And we have for values, this is the background color. You can change this color to this, and row grand total background color you can also change to this. Now you can see this row color also become similar to the row headers color. All right, so now our formatting for all the visuals is done. So that was quick, right? So that's how you do it. So let's now just quickly give a final touch to the titles and KPIs. You can see total orders, sales that is fine, sales quantity by order. I think everything already looks fine. So what you can do is give a title and description to this page as well. So copy from here and then just paste it here. Call this as customer details, and you can also give description like understanding customer sales behavior, growth patterns, and revenue recognition, or like in your report, whatever you are describing with that page, you can just give that. So we'll say understanding customer sales behavior, growth patterns, and revenue contribution. Let me see. All right. So now we are done with the all the formatting on both the pages, and that's how you do the formatting in the real world also. There is no need to do the same thing again and again. You do it on one page and keep it consistent across all pages, whether it is uh, text size, font color, background color, or whatever. So it should be consistent across the report, and that's how you keep it professional and it looks clean. Right. So we are done with our project. So this project stands out because it is end to end from raw data to insights. Every visual answers a business question. The layout is clean and professional, and the analytics is actionable and not decorative. So this is how the dashboards are built in the real organization. So this was a complete end-to-end Power BI project built with the business first mindset. So if you're learning Power BI and want to build job-ready projects, this approach will help you stand out. If you found this useful, like the video, subscribe to BI on Tips, and I'll see you in the next one.